some vinegar on top of that, about 3 tablespoons, and that's it.
After just 3 hours in the cure, the biltong is dabbed with a clean cloth and hung out to dry.
That should do it. Now to hang. With biltong, you need to get the drying started fairly rapidly, so you need a source of heat. But that could be just about anything. A traditional biltong drying box can be made with a wooden wine case with a light bulb hanging in it. Some people even hang them down the back of the fridge where they get the warm air from the fan coming out. If you've got a wood-burning stove or an open fireplace, it's easy. But don't hang them in front of a really fierce fire. Wait till the heat just starts to drop.
After 12 to 24 hours of warm drying, you can hang it at room temperature and it'll keep getting drier and harder. Not a bad stocking filler for the carnivore in your life.
That's been drying for 4 days. I mean, you can just leave it to dry as long as you like, but that's ready to eat now.
It's quite a tender bit of meat still.
Yeah.
It's delicious. Getting all those spices, but still in the middle, it's like quite a nice bit of juicy beef. This kind of spice-dried meat, I mean, it's best known as biltong, but it's a global phenomenon, isn't it? I mean, the Americans have beef jerky.
In India, they call it ding-ding. They hammer that really flat, and then they fry it on a barbecue.
Is this more biltong or ding-dong?
Ding-ding.
Is this more biltong or ding-ding?
Ding-ding.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, biltong or ding-ding, I think is a ding-dong success.
Coming up, we put bunnies in our burgers.
It could all go horribly wrong, couldn't it, really?
Mushrooms in our Christmas logs.
Thanks, John. Thanks very much.
And fish on our big beef party menu.
Now we're talking.
Even now, you might still encounter a few edible mushrooms, as long as the frosts aren't too long and hard. But truth be told, mushroom hunting isn't much of a winter sport. It is, however, a good time to plan for future fungal harvests rather closer to home. Fungus fanatic John Wright has promised to show me a way of bringing mountains of mushrooms to Mohammed.
It appears that you are heating logs in a trough.
Yeah, what I've got in mind, you need fresh but dead logs.
Like you're boiling them alive in order to kill them?
Yeah, so that I can grow mushrooms on them.
Are you possibly the first person ever to have boiled a log in order to grow mushrooms on it?
I suspect I am, yes.
You like that, don't you? Look at that, glowing with pride. Boiled any logs recently, John? Oh. What type of wood is it, by the way?
It's beech, perfect for what we want.
So these logs are already done?
They are all done, yes.
What have you done to them?
Well, I drilled holes, put plugs in, and then put some wax on top.
What plugs?
Plugs full of the mycelium of the fungus.
So with my precious warm log, will you show me from scratch how it's done? Go! Mind the fingers. Oh, blimey. I have to say, John, once you get a drill in your hand, you're absolutely insane.
License to drill.
So what on earth is that, John?
Well, that's a little dowel. That's been impregnated with the mycelium of oyster mushroom.
So this is actually, this white stuff on the surface of this little plug of wood is in fact a living fungi?
Yes, that's the fungus itself. The bit you eat, the bit you actually see, is the reproductive organ.
Mushroom growing kits containing impregnated dowels like this aren't expensive, and you can find them in garden centres or get them online.
This is something quite special. This is called the lion's mane fungus. It's a protected species. It's a bit like growing pandas and making panda burgers or something like that.
Knowing you, John, I'm surprised you haven't got square pegs.
The idea of the wax is just to seal the hole. It keeps it moist and also keeps other fungi out.
It's really a rather satisfying little job, this, isn't it? Nearly there.
Yeah.
In a few weeks' time, there'll be mushrooms sprouting out and we can eat them.
A few what? Weeks?
Weeks, no?
No, months. I mean, 6 months if you're lucky. But more
6 months?
Yes, or more likely a year or 18 months.
The world might end before this produces mushrooms, John, for goodness
Well, if it
sake.
doesn't, we'll have some nice mushrooms, won't we?
To cheer me up, John assures me that once the mycelium start fruiting, you can take a crop of mushrooms up to 3 times a year.
Thanks, John. Thanks very much.
And a single log can last over 5 years. Soak them for an hour or even overnight, then lay them out in a damp spot. A good covering of bracken or straw is ideal to keep the moisture in. But when the first mushrooms appear, rearrange the logs to maximise the surface area for your crop. Mushroom logs are the perfect prezi for the fungi or girl in your life, providing they can handle a little delayed gratification.
But normally about now, we're tucking into a nice plate of mushrooms.
Yeah, we are.
You've got something.
I got something.
What on earth is that?
Right, do you fancy that?
What is that? It's a bit of a dry... It is some kind of fungus. It's all dry and
It's a dried
spongy.
lion's mane. That's what we're growing.
Oh, it smells quite good. It's quite tough.
There's quite a lot of flavour. It's rather acidic flavour, isn't it? I don't know where that is. That.
I can imagine the fresh version's rather tasty.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know. I never tried it because, of course, it's a rare species.
Desperate times.
There's a chippy open there.
Let's go.
A raid on the fridge in search of a tummy-filling easy lunch is a frequent occurrence at this time of year. And if you can rustle up a dog end of hard cheese, a cold spud or two, and a scrap of ham, believe it or not, you're in for a feast. A tartiflette toasty, no less. A fridge raider's version of an Alpine classic.
Nice bit of cheddar. I'm going to leave the skin on my spud because it's so tasty. My tartiflette will be the perfect working lunch. It's definitely a recipe to play with. Feel free to ring the changes with leftover sausage or chicken instead of ham. The one indulgence that makes it, though, is a spot of cream. Let's let that bubble down. The cream's almost disappeared. It's just a sort of glaze for the ham and the potatoes now, and that's just how I want it. I'm going to mix a little bit of cheese in. Wow. Now, just another tiny trickle of cream, because I want some of that to go into the bread. A few twists of black pepper, and the last of the cheese. Back under the grill for a minute. And that's going to be one bubbly, cheesy, greedy, delicious lunch. Perfect for a winter's day with a long afternoon slog in the garden ahead. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Right. Look at that. There we go. Now surely that's a healthy lunch for a working man.
Recently, I've been overrun by rabbits determined to tax my winter greens. But we've turned loss into profit by turning rabbits into lunch, transforming these furry hoppers into rabbit rillettes and bunny haggis. And we're determined to get this all but forgotten meat back on the kitchen repertoire. The good ladies of the WI rose to the occasion with a yummy bunny bonanza. And River Cottage canteen chef Tim got to grips with rabbit curry, which won the seal of approval from staff and customers at the Taj Mahal in Bridport.
That's fantastic.
You like it? Yeah.
Now Tim's bigging up our bunny mission for the younger generation, taking his rabbit downtown to tempt the revellers in Exeter city centre with some burger van belters.
Basically, with the back legs of the rabbit, the nice big meaty bits here, we're going to, in some way, sort of pretend that that's chicken, and we're going to do southern fried rabbit. So it's just basic fast food, the sort of thing that people are really familiar with. Hopefully it's just going to take away the, ooh, it's a fluffy bunny factor. So we just take the back legs off. Why isn't rabbit as popular as chicken? It's healthier, it's certainly cheaper.
The meat on the leg is the tastiest, but also the toughest. So Tim's got a cunning ruse to make it super tender.
Pop that in the bottom of the pan. A couple of stalks of rosemary. Good pinch of ground cumin. Same with coriander. 1 star anise. Fennel seeds. In the gate. Got to get some garlic in there, but we're not going to faff about. Just literally going to bash it.
Add the seasonings to the onions and lay the lovely lean legs on top. Add enough oil to just cover the legs. This will keep them lubricated and let the spices seep into the meat.
I'm just going to bung that in the oven, about 180 degrees, 2 hours, maybe 3. I think these rabbit legs are going to need a little bit of a dip. We'll just put a bit of garlic into our food processor, salt, a little bit of cider vinegar, some nice English mustard in through the magic hole. I think a little bit of dried thyme in there will give it a nice pungency. We've got the cumin, coriander, almost making a coronation chicken dressing here.
Add 2 egg yolks and gradually trickle in the oil until the mix emulsifies into a creamy, spicy mayo.
Oh wow, yeah. Dip a nice bit of rabbit in there. Lovely.
After almost 2 hours in the bunny oiler, thoroughly drain the rabbit legs of excess oil and you've got very tender, very tasty meat.
Rabbit leg, flour, rabbit leg. Give it a good coating into the egg. And breadcrumb.
To make sure his bunny's got soul, there's a little kick of cayenne in those crumbs.
So we've got these on about 160 degrees and I'm going to take 3, maybe 4 minutes, tops. Let those drain off. I'm pleased that the breadcrumbs have all stayed on, not come parted company in the fryer. And a good amount of that nice sauce on there. I haven't so much disguised it as familiarised it. I want them to see it as something, a format of food that they're comfortable with, relaxed about eating. Exeter, here I come.